Hey guys, I've recorded this video like 4 or 5 times already because this is really fucking hard for me. I've recorded it in different moods, sometimes in an empowered mood because I'm trying to pretend like it's not that bad, and then other times, you know, I've recorded this crying, which I was like, oh no, you're being too emotional. And I guess now I'm just recording this video for the last fucking time as myself, authentically, and I'm just gonna allow myself to express and speak without feeling shame and without feeling weird about it, even though that's what this video is titled. As you guys know, I have not been on here. I'm sorry that I keep disappearing, but since I posted my last video, I've been going through so much. Like, that video, I don't know, it just initiated something in me that I'd been not confronting for years. I feel like I'm learning to authentically be myself, but it's fucking uncomfortable and it's scary. And in the last video, I was being authentic, and that's what made me feel so fucking embarrassed. It made me feel embarrassed, like, to be me. It made me feel embarrassed to open up about the fact that I'm a creative. I don't know why. And I just feel so much embarrassment in general, like, recently, and shame. And the reason for that is because I realized that I am an addict. I mentioned in my last video that I think I'm addicted to weed. Well, I realized I am. I got back to London a week ago from LA, and I have cold turkey quit smoking weed, tobacco, and I also stopped drinking coffee because I realized that it really fucks your nervous system if you have issues with anxiety. This is like so uncomfortable, but we're gonna just sit with the discomfort, and I'm just gonna allow myself to be seen as I really am, because it is exhausting to be anybody else than who you are. And what kind of message am I sending to my inner child if I can't even talk about my negative emotions on here? There's been a huge thing in my whole life where I felt deeply ashamed of my negative emotions and of my expression, my creative expression and my expression as a person. Hence the reason why I'm such a people pleaser, and I'm learning to release all of that and break those patterns. Another big reason why I feel so much shame around this subject of addiction is because, just gonna lay it out there, I come from a family of addicts. Addiction runs in my family, and I grew up around it. And because of that, I've always promised myself, like, I'm not gonna be that person who's addicted to something, and yet here I am after 3 months in LA, having smoked up every single day from morning to night. And even before that, like, this weed addiction has sort of been going on. It felt like a magical cure for my anxiety when I discovered it. But now I can see that my anxiety is actually just a load of fucking trauma that I have not allowed myself to express or confront. I feel like physically nauseous talking about all of this on camera and being like so real about it. I'm doing this for all the younger girls and guys who really struggle to accept themselves, because that's what I used to do, and I'm learning to accept myself, but the process is very uncomfortable, and it's difficult for me to not hate it and to not hate myself. But I'm learning to lean more into my negative emotions instead of suppressing them, which I realized is a pattern in my family. Hence the reason why there's addiction, because people are choosing to escape instead of confront. And I realized that I don't want to pass that on. Again, I cannot believe that this is really me. I cannot believe that this is what I'm going through. And I'm currently at my best friend's house in London, and he actually is going through releasing an addiction himself. So we're finding ourselves in a kind of self-created rehab where every single day all we do is just really be kind to ourselves, and we unpack our trauma and we talk about things and we just allow ourselves to authentically show up. So that's what I've been doing for the past 7 days since I've been here. It's been really hard for me to connect with people in general and to open up about this because I have like a hyper independence trauma too. Like, no, I'm gonna do this on my own. And it's been hard for me to ask for help because I feel like I said in my last video, I haven't been treated the way that I should have been in my childhood, and I haven't been helped in the ways that I should have been. And this is not to blame anybody, but just it's a realization that I need to be honest about in order to move forward from this. And because of this, I wanted to say that I am gonna start with therapy. A lot of you guys in the comment section of my last video actually recommended it, and it really triggered me. It made me feel like people were saying that there's something wrong with me, and I'm realizing now there's nothing wrong with me. This is perfectly normal and human to be going through these emotions, but people just don't really show these moments and don't really talk about these things. And as much as I want to isolate and I don't want to talk about this online and I just want to pretend like this never happened, I want to pretend like the last video was never put up, it's out there, and it's out there with good reason, because it's like the universe is pushing me to live life the way that I really want to live it, which is to be authentic, which is to be me, which is to express freely without judging myself. And it's also without an addiction. On the topic of addiction, like, this is actually not my first addiction. I also had porn addiction growing up. Porn was introduced into my life when I was 8 years old, and it was something that I kind of like struggled with on and off in my teen years, until at some point I really realized it was a problem because there was so much shame around my sexuality, so much shame around who I am, and it really kept me from connecting in intimate relationships. Love is extremely difficult for me because of that, and receiving love is extremely difficult for me because of how much shame I realized I carry in myself. I'm working through all these things at the moment, but it's just been a lot. There's been this feeling like I can't breathe for the past few years. I think since 2000, and it doesn't really matter when it started, but it's been going on for a while, and I kind of just thought like, nah, it's normal. Like, it's normal to feel like this, and that's just how it is, and get on with it, you know, get busy, do things with your life. But now I realize that that's not the appropriate advice for me, to just get on with life, because this is something that was and is deeply penetrating all aspects of my life. Like, since I'm a creative, if I don't learn how to authentically and non-judgmentally express, how can I really be a creative? That's a very important part of the process, is just learning to embrace the processes that go on in expression. And it's also like, I think because of the fact that my childhood was so fucking chaotic, and there's just all these like fears that have been coming up, like fear of rejection, fear of abandonment. There's been codependency wounds that I've noticed in myself. It's like the past week, it's just been 7 days, but it literally feels like the biggest rude awakening I've ever fucking had in my life about all these things. And I'm happy, actually. I'm happy, even though I'm going through this process and it's very uncomfortable. I'm so happy that this is finally happening, and I'm like strong enough to choose to confront this, because I don't want to go down the same path as some people in my family. I want to be genuinely happy, and I want my advice and who I am to be authentic and genuine. And how can it be genuine if I can't even help myself? You know, like they say that the healer at some point also needs healing and needs guidance. And I think that's something that my ego has been struggling to cope with. Like, the idea that I am this person who preaches, I am this person who usually everybody goes to for advice. Yes, I am intelligent, and yes, I am spiritual, and yes, I'm tapped in, and yes, I do have wisdom, but at the moment, I just need to be the child I need to go into me just being the child who feels these fears and really feels them all the way through, because even in my childhood, like, I wasn't able to fully feel. I was shamed for fully feeling my emotions. So it put this thing on me, this shame of every time I would feel a negative emotion, I would suppress it and suppress and suppress and suppress and suppress. And so it's manifested in this physical anxiety and just this paralysis around expression. And even right now, I've been talking for 12 minutes, it says here on the camera, and I've not once like taken a break and had to look at my notes. Usually in the past, when I'm recording a YouTube video, I'm just constantly overthinking everything I'm saying, and I'm so scared of triggering people. I'm so scared of upsetting people. I'm so scared that I won't help people, because it feels like my identity as a child was, even though I wasn't taken care of, I was expected to take care of others. And that just hasn't really made me feel at ease now as an adult. I realized that I also struggle with this thing where I can't be alone. And it's like so much shame in me admitting that, because I used to judge those girls that, you know, had to always be in relationships or always have to be around people because they just can't be alone. And now I realize I was just judging myself, because now here I am and I'm facing this wound of like not being able to be on my own. I kid you not, like, life has been so fucking intense that sometimes at night when I'm laying in my bed, I have so many suicidal thoughts and so much anxiety, especially because I have insomnia at the moment from the fact that I stopped smoking weed and the fact that I'm fucking jet lagged as hell from flying here from LA. It's just like so much shit that my ego can't handle, and my ego is like constantly telling me I need to do things, and I'm telling my ego to shut the fuck up, and I'm telling my ego like this isn't what we need and this is not safe anymore to continue with the same patterns that we've been continuing. Like I said, I'm gonna go to therapy, and I'm choosing for once in my life to ask for help instead of always keeping this shit inside of myself. So a lot of things are being healed at the same time for me. I really do think that the end result is going to be really good. It's actually so ironic. This book here, Untamed, Stop Pleasing, Start Living. I started reading this when I flew to LA 3 months ago. And interestingly, her story is literally about addiction and how she was an addict because she felt like she needed to suppress who she is her whole life. And a big part of her suppression was her sexuality because she's gay. And she was married to a man, and she then discovered at some point that she is in love with this woman. And so she had to go through this whole process of like authentically stepping into who she is. I cannot believe that I read this book like right before flying there, and I thought like the concept of addiction was really something that I thought, no, that's never gonna be me. I don't struggle with that. I'm not gonna be that person that struggles with that, especially after my childhood. Like, nope, that's not gonna be me. But yet here I am in my own little created rehab, and I'm having to go through this. And you know, I realized finally that the reason why I have often validated myself through external things like how many views my videos get, all this kind of bullshit, is because deep down there was just this huge self-worth wound. And I think I knew this, but I didn't have the bravery to really go into that because I've just felt so afraid. And it is fucking tough, and it takes a lot of courage to face yourself, to not want to escape and to fully feel those emotions. But I'm choosing to do it because you just can't escape. You can't escape. I've noticed, like, even if there is an addiction, all you're doing is you're just making it worse, and life will amplify your wounds if you don't take care of them. At the moment, that's what I need to do. And yeah, I really wanted to say too that I'm really grateful for your support and like all the nice comments and the love that was in you guys' comments. in my last video. I actually took screenshots of a lot of them because I really felt like, okay, I'm not alone. And I feel like by me doing this, I'm also showing other people who feel alone that they're not alone, you know? That's just me and everything that I'm going through. Please do not worry about me. I know I'm going to be okay. This is like a really important part of the process, is just the acceptance and allowing myself to just fucking feel the negative emotions. And you know what? Yeah, to show up on here just as I am and not give a fuck anymore about who judges me. Ironically, as difficult as this is, I think this is what needs to happen in order for me to release my people pleasing, is I need to start having the courage to be disliked. And I know that those who are meant to be part of this journey with me will continue to stay on this journey with me, and those that don't, they were never meant for me anyways, because there's this little thing that I have on my phone and it says, anything you lost by being real was fake. And I feel like that's what I'm really trying to tell myself right now. Like, as much as my childhood fears are saying things like, you're gonna be left alone, because that's often what happened. You're gonna be rejected. You're gonna be abandoned if you express yourself. Literally, as I say this stuff, my chest is like, it's a lot, and just unpacking these traumas with my best friend has shown me like how serious this really is. I can't keep running away from it, and especially success like amplifies these wounds even more. So just know, like me telling you right now, if you have big dreams and you think that reaching those dreams is going to give you the validation you want, it fucking won't. Validation is an inside job, and I think all this stuff is just, it's always been told to me. It's like those cliche sayings you hear throughout your whole life, but you kind of think to yourself, it doesn't apply to me. Like, no, I'm gonna be a successful this, I'm gonna do that, and then if I get that, nobody will be able to hurt me anymore. And it's like, nope, that is an inside job, you having to confront that. That's just me being completely authentic about what I'm going through. And I know it's gonna get better. I really do. I know it's gonna get better, but I also know that sometimes it has to be really bad in order for things to change. So yeah, thank you for hearing me out. And you know what? I usually end my video by saying I send you so much love and light, but right now I'm sending myself love and light, because that's what I need through this journey. Of course I'm sending you love and light too, but you see the people pleaser? I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a nice day.